I had the worst childhood and the best childhood at the same time, because I think obviously the thing that's a little bit different with you and I was I was, you know, grew up in Russia in a place called Dagestan, moved to London when I was 4 years old, and my mom, so my biological father, whatever, alcoholic, abusive, thank God my mom, finally decided to get out of that situation. My mom met my stepdad, and you know, everything seemed to be going all well and fine. They tried living together, gave it a shot. He lived in London. So I had a very weird childhood where like I grew up in London and my stepdad was very wealthy. But by the age of around 7 or 8, we were basically like fully cut off. So it was a weird sort of like almost like arrangement they had. My stepdad saved a lot of, money on taxes by being married.
Right.
That worked strategically for him. He ended up, relocating. And then for my mom side, basically I got to go to private school. So I had this really weird childhood where, by the age I was 12, 13, 14, I was in private school, but, my mom was, I remember the amount of times it was kind of embarrassing. Like I would get embarrassed. My mom was, you remember Harrods, right?
Yeah.
We've done a lot of shopping there the past few days. Like my mom would work in the perfume section, working minimum wage. And like my friends' parents would see my mom a lot of times. They'd be like, why is your mom like working in a department store, like for minimum wage?
Yeah.
Right. They'd see her there. At times she was working Chelsea and Westminster Hospital as a receptionist. When things got really bad, we were on government benefits, which is kind of like welfare. So I had this really weird childhood where like my stepdad was just a very not nice person. Just very not nice person. So I had a weird thing where like when I moved out when I was 17 into my own place, that's why like I moved out when I was 17. It was like my biggest dream on earth. Like it was the thing that meant more to me than anything else. Like just getting out of that house, because it's just like not a very fun place for me in terms of memories. By the time I left, we hadn't had heating for 3 years, no warm water for 3 years. And when my stepdad found out when I was 15 that I was building a business, he cut off the Wi-Fi. So that's actually funny enough why like here in the UK, like my phone plan is still with a company called Three, which like if you live in the UK, like you kind of know like Three's like, if you don't have a lot of money, you're on Three.
It's like Frontier.
It's like it's just not the one, right? It's just a bit like ghetto chavvy, right? The reason is because back in like 2015 they had a deal where for like £24 a month you could do unlimited hotspot. So I actually built my entire business off of hotspotting my phone so I could connect to my computer and work from home. So I said, I think we arrived at the same place. The way we got there was a little different. We both had the issue of single mom having to take care of her. Obviously I had it was such a unique perspective where like I was going to private school, but I was like, me and my mom had literally nothing, right? So, and not only that, my mom had just been through such a like, I mean, she's the strongest person I know. She's just such a traumatic like time in life. So I think that shaped both of us as men, having, looking at our moms and being like, look, either we do something or this whole ship is sinking. And like, that's a very weird feeling to have when you're, when you're like, I don't know if you got this, and I'm sure you probably did, but like, I was like 8 or 9 years old and I was like, literally, I said to myself, I have to be the man. I have to be the man. Otherwise, for me and my mom, otherwise, that's it. This is over. And like having that realization at like such a young age is,
It forces you to grow up really fast.